BIO3015 Microbiology at Point Loma Nazarene University. Just want to spend a few minutes going through the syllabus with you in a video so we don't have to take time in class to do this. Up front you can see all the basic information you need to know about the class, how many units it is, my name and contact information here, your lab assistant, and how to get a hold of her. The time and place we're going to meet, and I mentioned this to you before by email, but I want to remind you that officially we're Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 11:55 in RLC 102, but we're going to actually extend this 11 to 12:05. We'll fill that whole slot as if it's a 65-minute class. And then we're going to take every other Friday off from lecture. So we'll get those extra 50 minutes in by adding 10 minutes to 5 lectures in a row. And then every other Friday, we're going to take a mental health day. And I think it's going to do us all a lot of good. Dr. Drill and Dr. Kadelka have been doing this, and they say that it's really helping everybody to pace themselves in their upper division classes. And so looking forward to giving this a try with you guys. I think you're going to find it really helpful. Lab meets on Thursdays, 1:30 to 4:30 in SATER 105. Hopefully everybody's got a copy of the textbook by now, Brock Biology of Microorganisms. You can get the e-text with study tools cheaper, and I sent you by email separate registration instructions for purchasing that. You do not have to have the what do they call it, Mastering Microbiology or any of that stuff. But if you like to study on an e-text, you can save some money, and it's got study tools, some handy little things, quizzes, all kinds of things that can help you out. Otherwise, grab a copy of the textbook and hold on tight as we jump into this. My office hours will be Mondays and Wednesdays, 2 to 4. I'm in Rohr Science, Office 176. You can read the catalog description. Hopefully you did before you registered for the class. Everybody is upper division, juniors or seniors in this class. You've all had BIO210 and BIO345 by this point. So our primary learning objective is to get you familiar with the world of microbes, and we're going to emphasize the domain bacteria, though we will talk about, at least initially, some of the other forms of microorganisms, like viruses and worms and protozoa and fungi. We will emphasize the bacteria most of the time, though. And then, so we'll start with fundamental concepts of microbiology, essentially cell biology and biochemistry of prokaryotes in the first third of the course. And then we're going to get into medical microbiology, a little bit of immunology, just a week or so of immunology, and then we're going to talk about the human microbiome, which is really a very exciting up-and-coming field. Specific learning outcomes. I want you to be able to describe the physical structure, function, and physiology of the bacteria, as well as the eukaryotic pathogens and the viruses. How are they built differently, and how do they operate differently? I want you to be able to talk about how bacteria cause disease and how do they resist antibiotics. How do antibiotics work in the first place? How do the bacteria protect themselves? We're going to do some case studies where I want you to interpret some clinical data and actually diagnose an infection. Those are really nice because it lets you take all the basic science and apply it to real-life situations. You're going to analyze and interpret some modern research in the human microbiome, and then in lab, applying basic lab skills that are necessary for studying the living microorganisms to an original research project. And we'll talk more about that when we're all together. So, okay, I know you guys are most interested in points. 575 points possible, 450 from lecture, 125 in lab. You've got 3 exams. That includes the final. Okay, so 3 opportunities to really show me that you've learned the content well. Well, the first 2 are going to be 100 points each, and the third one's 150 points. And this 150-point final exam is going to be half old material from the old stuff in the semester, sections 1 and 2, and half new material. You need to know all this material that we cover. If you have a legitimate conflict, and that doesn't mean like you want to go skiing or something, but a legitimate excused absence, you let me know in advance. We'll see what we can do. The exam dates are firm, so make your plans around those. Don't leave home early, for Christmas break or something like that until you've taken all of your exams. Homework. There's going to be 11 homework assignments. They're roughly every week. They're worth 10 points each. This is a great opportunity for me to give you feedback and help kind of hone your thinking about some of the key topics in this class before an exam rolls around. It's pretty much going to be on Wednesdays with just a few exceptions. Look at the schedule and you'll see when those are due. And I'll be reminding you as we go along. This is real important. My goal is for you to learn this stuff, so you are very welcome to work on these together, but you have to turn in your own work, and it has to be written in your own words. You're not copying and pasting anything. You don't ever turn in an answer that you don't personally understand, right? So you don't take words word for word from something you pulled off the internet or out of the textbook or something that I said in class. This has to be reworded, paraphrased, to show me that you understand it, your brain understands it. If there's a piece to it that you don't get, don't just copy down the words and put it in there. You need to only report back on homework on topics that you understand, and keep working at them until you do understand them. Your lab's going to be worth 125 points. We're going to do an actual research project working with microorganisms, bacteria, E. coli-like bacteria called coliforms, from a wastewater treatment plant, looking at their drug resistance capacity. Well, I'll give you a lot more information on that later. So, real simple point breakdown, right? You got your 3 exams for 350 points, 100 points in homework, 125 in lab activities. Look through the grading scale carefully. Your final percentage is going to be rounded to the nearest whole number. So if you've got a 71.8, I'm going to give you a 72. We're going to call it a C. If you got a 71.1, we're going to round it down to a 71, and you've got a C minus, okay? And it's non-negotiable. So please don't come to me at the end of the semester and say I need extra credit, or to keep my scholarship I need a better grade. That's all up to you, not me. You know what you're up against. Make sure that you earn the grade that you need or that you deserve, okay? Here's your approximate lecture schedule. You can see on any given day what we're going to be hopefully covering. You can see the chapters and the sections, subsections from each chapter where this content is covered in the textbook, and you can see the homework due dates. The homework will be due uploaded online by 11 o'clock, like before we start. So for example, homework 1 is going to be due Wednesday, September 11th. It's got to be uploaded by 11 o'clock or your opportunity to upload it goes away. So make sure you get that done in advance. Keep track of all of those. There are your exams, 1 and 2, etc. And if you look at the specific topics, you can see the pattern of what we're going to cover, right? Some basic pathogen structure and function. We'll look at the viruses, the fungi, protozoa, and helminths, which are the worms. We'll look at the bacteria, and then we're going to look at bacterial metabolism, specifically cellular respiration, fermentation in great detail, and then bacterial growth in batch culture, continuous culture, and biofilms. Then you're going to take an exam on that. Then we're going to take a look at, we're going to start looking at some medical microbiology. And to understand how bacteria cause disease, we actually really need to understand mobile genetic elements, things like plasmids and transposons, where the information for causing disease actually originates. So we're going to spend a little time on those mobile elements. Then we'll work our way into antibiotics and resistance, and then virulence factors, the actual structures or secreted enzymes, etc., that bacteria use to cause disease. Take an exam on that. Look at the immune response. We're only going to take about a week on the immune response. If you want more detail on the immune response, take Dr. Page's immunology course, BIO3015 in the spring. And then we'll finish with the topic of the human microbiome, first looking at the normal microbiota colonizing us, and then a phenomenon called dysbiosis. What happens when the normal microbiota get all out of whack, and what diseases do we know are associated with that? Final exam on Wednesday the 18th. Exciting stuff, right? Okay, we'll talk more about lab when we're together. The most important thing right now is that you know what you're getting into with lecture. If you have questions, reach out to me now or hang on to them until the first day of class, and I'll start feeding you information that you need on lab once we start meeting together soon. So I hope that was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.